The Chaser Report is recorded on Gadigal land.
Striving for mediocrity in a world of excellence. This is the Chaser Report.
Hello and welcome to the Chaser Report with Dom and Charles.
Hello, Charles. Now, we're not in the same place, tragically, because you, for some reason, insist on going and doing this live stage show palaver again.
Oh, I know. It's difficult being as successful as me when it comes to live shows.
The life of a showman.
Yes.
Yeah, I noticed there haven't been any more live episodes of the podcast. You did one when I was overseas with Craig and that whole art gallery episode that seemed quite fun.
Well, how can you top perfection, Dom? I mean, there was nowhere to go. I mean, I sort of I feel for Taylor Swift in a way. I feel for Taylor Swift because she's at the peak of her career. The only way is down from here. I mean, the Eras tour has broken all records. She's at an artistic peak. She's at a sort of like pop culture peak. And I feel I'm very much in the same camp. I feel like, you know, we did...
Well, you're just the person to analyse it because as one of the presenters of a show called Wankernomics, you're both a wanker and across the economics of the live touring industry. But, Charles, I understand that people in Adelaide, where you are now,
yes,
they've got some sort of a beef.
Oh, they hate Taylor Swift. She's made a huge error. She's made an absolute catastrophic error. We'll find out what that is after this short commercial break.
Now, look, speaking of Taylor and huge errors, I've just seen the news that in Kansas City, the celebration has featured multiple shootings.
Oh.
So I presume she wasn't near there because didn't she have to fly straight from Japan to the Super Bowl, then on to Australia? But it's I guess it's a traditional American celebration. So in the scheme of that, is she doing better or worse than the Kansas City Chiefs celebration?
Or do you think she orchestrated it and the whole, I've got to leave the city the moment my show ends was just an elaborate alibi?
Well, when you say she orchestrated it, what you're really saying is the CIA and Joe Biden
obviously
orchestrated it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, that's what happened. That's how it works in America, isn't it?
They planned it all, and then she went, okay, so it's really important that I leave, so I've got an alibi. Yeah. And then it would have been her body double that actually left, so that everyone thought she'd left.
This is fabulously sinister. I love it.
Yeah, I don't think Australia is going to have the same problems as America when it comes to just random acts of gun violence.
Well, you say that, but Adelaide are pretty riled.
Well, yes, exactly.
Have guns come to Adelaide yet? Are guns around in Adelaide? Have they got that?
No,
yet?
they're sort of more acid bathy type people still.
Oh,
it's all old school.
What, don't piss off an Adelaidean who has access to barrels.
No.
And you know what they all do? They're winemakers, Charles. There's barrels fucking everywhere in that place.
Oh, I know. Look, if I don't make it back from Adelaide, just know that my body will never be found.
Never. Well, the barrel might be found, but not the body. Wow. No. Okay, so be careful what you say. You're going to be in Adelaide for a few weeks. Just plug your thing quickly before we get into Taylor.
Yeah, okay. So I'm doing Wankernomics 2.0 as per my last email. I'm pleased to say, first show already sold out.
Really?
We've had to add a second show on the Saturday night because it's just selling so well, which is this Saturday. And a lot of the sort of shows towards the end of the tour are also selling very fast. So if you do want to see it, the guy who organises the whole thing rang us the other day and said, I reckon you're going to sell out your whole run.
That's good. I mean, I don't want to be unkind, but managing to interest the people of Adelaide is a bit of a lower bar. But if you're selling out in other places as well, you could be onto something. Although that said, to be fair, you're at this festival time, right? Like this is the time when Adelaide's great.
Well, what we've done is we're doing a sequel to our last show, and we've worked out what the actual formula for attracting an audience is, which is something that the Australian television industry has known for years, and Hollywood has known for years, which is to just do the exact same thing that you did last year again, just slightly different. The audiences don't like to be delighted and surprised by new things. They just want a sort of general rehash, you know, with a bit more updates and, you know, little different funny twists as last year.
Yeah, I mean, I saw The War in 2023, Charles. I saw the references to things that happened earlier than 2023. I saw what you're doing. I must say, congratulations creatively on managing to form this amazing creative partnership with James Schleffel, who is a fabulous comedy writer. I'm just so pleased you managed to find yet another white guy to work with after The Chaser and then Mark Humphries.
It was...
And I really like that what you've done is by the two of you being up there in suits, it's as though it's like a parody of like white men, corporate, whatever, while also unparadically perpetrating the same thing. That's fabulous, Charles. Well done.
No, it's the perfect thing. Only us could parody white men as well as us.
Yeah,
like it's the role that we were born to make.
It's very clever of the patriarchy to work out how to make money out of deconstructing the patriarchy. I mean, full credit to you both.
But this year, we've dispensed with the full suits. And
really?
We're rolling up our sleeves because we're overpaid consultants now. Oh. So we're rolling up the sleeves. We've got out a whiteboard. It's... There's a lot of props.
I miss being an overpaid consultant. I never was for very long, but it was glorious. Glorious.
Did you work for the firm that bought Virgin?
I've worked for a couple of kind of big consulting firms. And I never was even senior enough in them to sack anyone, so I didn't really have the full experience.
Do you have any inside information that you can trade on, or that you could tell the listeners to trade on?
I used to have market-sensitive information. Unfortunately, I'm not trusted with that anymore.
Did you ever use it?
No, I didn't do any insider trading. All the training said you shouldn't, and I wasn't there long enough to ignore it.
It's probably why they had to let you go. Yeah. They went, this guy's not even trading.
Yeah, what a loser. Shares in the thing he's working. That's right. Shouldn't I have shared in the upside of the secret information that I knew about? That's right.
Yes. Anyway, Adelaide is very pissed off with Taylor Swift.
Okay.
And it's because the Adelaide Advertiser yesterday, full front page news, was she's not coming to Adelaide, right? And that has cost the state of Adelaide, or the city of Adelaide, $100 million in lost revenue. If she'd come here, then everyone would have bought tickets to a show. It would have cost about $100 million. And that would have been economic activity that they could add to the GDP by giving it to Taylor so she can take it on her jet away with her.
Quite confused. So presumably this is $100 million, of which $99 million would have gone to Taylor if she'd come. But there would have been some dregs.
Oh, no, actually, I think about $97 million of it would have gone to Ticketek.
Oh, yes, of course.
Ticket fees.
Yeah, that's right.
$1 million goes to Taylor. And then, but it generates activities. Like people go out and they take selfies in front of posters and they buy, gum or I don't know.
What do you have in Adelaide?
Wine. People do.
You have wine coolers. I've been to the Hindley Street Macca's at 3 a.m. They definitely have McDonald's, I can tell you that. I've never seen a mess. Like this is in about 2008, mind you, but there was the amount of Macca's wrappers on the floor of the Hindley Street Macca's at 3 a.m. I've never seen anything like it. It was slum-esque. It was amazing.
It would have led to a massive boom had Taylor Swift been here. It would have led to a massive boom in the sale of West Coast coolers.
Oh, it would have.
That would have been.
Have they come to Adelaide now?
Boost. Yeah.
But the other boom there would have been, the big economic opportunity that South Australians are missing out on. What? It's price gouging. There's a story today that what's been happening is that Swifties who are travelling to the real cities, Sydney and Melbourne, to see the places where she's doing 4 gigs in Sydney and none in Adelaide. I mean, sorry Adelaide, but
shows you her priorities. So they're the correct ones.
Here's the thing.
They're the priorities of a winner.
Yeah, who knows that there's 80,000 people at Accor Stadium. So what's happening, Charles, is that people who have booked to see Taylor flying from places like, Adelaide, their Airbnb bookings have been cancelled.
Oh.
They've been cancelled en masse, only to have been relisted at a higher price.
Yes, capitalism.
So there's a great example here. There's a woman called Jasmine from Gunnedah, age 24. She booked 3 nights for $630 near the MCG, really nailed it. And a week before the concert, the host says, the carpets have got to be redone. You can't stay. I'm really sorry. And then the same property's been relisted for $1,347, so more than double what she paid. And then someone paid for it.
This is good.
Yeah.
I think, first of all, that's just capitalism.
Yeah.
I think that's just people getting into the culture that Taylor Swift represents.
She does.
So, yeah, I think that's good. And I think it shows Aussie ingenuity. Like this is, what is our most innovative sector? What's the thing that drives this economy? It's making money off owning stuff that you rent out to somebody
yes,
else.
it's
right? Like
it's
that
rent,
is
literally rent
90%
seeking
of the economy.
It's
rent seeking. Yeah, it's sort of pre-capitalist. It's feudalistic, right? So, frankly, we live it's like going to Silicon Valley and complaining about the innovation, right?
Exactly.
You know, you come to Australia, you complain about the rent. I'm sorry, that's what we do. That's the only thing.
That's our only industry, and I'm sure that Taylor Swift will. Well, while she's here, she'll buy some properties. She will.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. She will.
Do you think for Taylor, it's a little bit like you go to the shops, like a $2 shop.
Yeah. You get some.
You
gummies,
go, that sparkly things looks good, and I might get that tinny hat. That'll be funny. Do you think she comes and she's so rich that she looks around, Bellevue Hill, Point Piper, and she goes, that little shiny house on the harbour looks good. Oh, I might just buy that.
Absolutely.
And just sort of, is that how it works?
I think so. I think she just flies over on the way and goes, that, and that.
Yeah.
And that's it. I just need to clear my throat, so let's take a moment.
The Chaser Report. News you can't trust.
By the way, Charles, Taylor has touched down in this country only a few hours ago.
Yes.
And Sky News' contributor talking here to Rita Panahi is already absolutely losing it. Check this out.
Once again, I'm sick of Taylor Swift. They talk about one of her album is 1989. It's literally 1984, but it's 1989. We're being programmed to have to watch her 24/7. I mean, it's really like an Orwell novel. It's Orwellian how much Taylor Swift is being thrown in our face, especially here in America.
It's kind of funny when he's talking on a network that does actually broadcast mind-altering weirdness 24/7. So what's Adelaide going to do, Charles, to Taylor now that they're crossed with her, now that she's cost them $100 million? I mean, she could afford to pay them off without even blinking, to be fair.
Well, I kind of feel like, I presume what will happen is there'll be a contingent of South Australians who are setting out towards Melbourne right now, rolling the barrels.
Oh my gosh, you better watch out. Along the highway.
Along the highway.
Oh, my goodness.
And, she should watch out. So, whereas in Kansas you have this horrific violent act, I think if I was the Victorian police, I'd be on the lookout for South Australians wielding acid barrels.
Pushing the barrels along the road. How many references to the barrels, which is, it's such an old reference. So I remember we made a joke about barrels.
For listeners younger than 40.
Yeah, it's such a... But
we should probably give it some context.
And South Australians hate it so much. They're like, we're more than that. We are more than Snowtown. This is a horrible series of murders.
So, look, I don't know. I mean, I don't think... Oh, that's the other thing that's incredible is in South Australia is you walk along the street. You know how in Sydney you see ads for, Calvin Klein or... Christian Dior or whatever. They're just on the street. Here, all the ads are for Lockheed Martin.
Really?
Yes, everywhere. So and it's got some. I'll have to find out the slogan, but it's something like "Get into it."
Well, that's what you should do, Charles. With all of your millions from touring, you should invest in defence contract. Well, the Chasers should. I've thought this for ages. Become a defence contractor, shouldn't we? I mean, that's the obvious industry for us to get into.
The problem with defence contracting is they have these contracts which are called fixed margin contracts, which means it's impossible for the contractors to lose money because they charge what it costs and then they get a margin on top of that. And I don't think it's very Chaser to enter into some sort of contract or agreement or business deal where it's guaranteed to make money.
No, that's unprecedented.
It's not really on brand.
No, we wouldn't do that. Okay, that's a pity. It was a good idea.
But so, I mean, I think what happens is you come to South Australia, you live in South Australia, you can't get Taylor Swift tickets, but you can build the latest armaments to go and bomb hospitals and stuff like that. Like that's presumably what the growth industry is.
What a cheery thought, Charles. Well,
maybe what they should do is use some of those, expertise on Taylor Swift.
Well, Charles, I haven't heard of acid-based weapons being deployed before, and I can imagine Lockheed Martin's gone, who can we get to weaponise barrels?
It'll be a new generation of old-style acid-based weapons.
I think we've just about guaranteed that the people of Adelaide, if we have any listeners in Adelaide, by the way, please email us podcast@chaser.com.au and tell us how much you hate Charles.
I've just been looking at our sales figures for Wankernomics 2.0 at the Adelaide Fringe, and as this podcast is going to air, the sales have actually been going backwards.
Oh, I see.
It's actually in negative territory. People are cancelling their tickets.
Is that what's happening, Charles, or is it that the murders continue? You can't expect people to turn up to your gig if they've been murdered.
Yes, if they're in an acid vat. Yes.
I think that'll do it.
I think we should go.
Yeah, I think we're
yeah.
The Adelaide Advertiser's not going to like you, Charles. And they probably already don't.
No, we got best of the fest in the Adelaide. I love these. We hired a publicist this year, and we got best of the fest the weekend before the fest even. The show doesn't even exist yet. And we got best of the fest. How much integrity does that newspaper have?
Low bar. Look, my voice is going. I need to go and put some acid on my vocal cords. Charles, Chookers, enjoy.
Yeah.
And I hope you make it home alive. I suspect you won't.
No, I won't. Our gear is from Rode. We are part of the Iconoclast Network. Catch you later.
I don't think you'll be catching me later, Charles, but I'll continue the podcast after your death.